This is TWiT.
Rumors starting to appear about iPhone 12. I don't know. I always go to Rene Ritchie to vet those. Are any of these rumors worth paying attention to, or?
So I worked in this industry for 10 years. My delightful colleague, Lory Gil, still works there. And I understand that news is hard right now. But I look out of the landscape and it says, leak confirms iPhone 12, Apple September event. And I look and it's a Twitter account that has never tweeted before, that has an animoji, or not, an anime picture as its icon, and just says things that are either patently obvious or so far outlandish, and it gets an entire article like on 8 different sites. And I just I get it, we're all super bored right now, but I think you should better prepare people for, like, this is a zany Twitter account that's just tweeting stuff and we're desperate, and not oh my god, this is what the next iPhone is going to be. Japanese
site Mac Otakara says there might be a delay for the iPhone 12 till late October due to COVID-19 hitting the supply chain. I don't know how well sourced it is, but it's not hard to believe.
Yeah. But then there's rumor that the Apple event will still take place when it usually does in early September. That's just when we see the phones won't be.
And they did that with the 10R, right? They announced it, they showed it, and they said, and you'll get it late October.
And the 10,
the difference,
the 8 shipped, and sorry.
The difference this time, though, is that normally when they have a September event, it's
something.
A week or 2 weeks later, something is in people's hands. And in this case, if they actually do a September event and they don't postpone the event a month, we're going to see, the announcement and then a delay, which I wonder, is that a good idea? Because part of why we jump out and buy these new iPhones is that they just had an announcement. That following Friday, you can pre-order it. The following Friday after that, you get to see it's in your hands. There's that kind of excitement that happens right away. So I wonder, is it, from a marketing perspective, is it a good idea for Apple to have their September event like they always do? Or is it smarter to postpone the event until they know that they can ship those iPhones 2 weeks after that event? That, to me, that makes the most sense.
It's a virtual event, though. Like, that's the thing with these all these things, is it's a virtual event. They could very well have planned. They have the iPhone event the exact same week, on the exact, like, Tuesday of the exact same week every year. It's not like rocket science to predict when the next one could be. And in a normal year, that could absolutely be the event. But when it's virtual, they can hold it anytime they want. And we saw with WWDC, it was 3 weeks later than it usually is. And that they could just say, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to have any more air power nonsense going on. That stuff stopped. And when we know what's going to ship and we know when it's going to ship, we're going to have the event 2 weeks before that. And these are all the ways we're going to work with people who aren't there in person, but we still build excitement. Like, that to me smells like Apple. It doesn't smell like Apple to go, okay, we decided, 3 years ago, this was the date and we're just going to do it because we decided it.
Right.
It's hard to say, though, because I don't think any company is as much of a control freak about their marketing as Apple is. And the great thing about having those in person. Well, no. Did I mishear you? They're total control.
Other companies wish that they were as good as Apple at being so so tight about it.
Oh, no, I don't mean it that way. I mean that they like having absolute control over every step and how information gets out, who gets it, how these people release that information, make sure that they are being, I wouldn't say influenced, but make sure that if there are any mistakes in coverage, or if anything that Apple assumed was going to happen as a result of this doesn't happen, there's going to be a course correction there, and it makes their jobs a lot tougher, because there's certainly the great things about having those in-person events is that you have the 3 or 4 different layers of hand-holding that go on there, and also the other X factor here is that I don't know if I 100% believe that Apple's going to show off at least Apple Glass sometime before the end of the year. But how are they? It's the sort of thing where it's very, very hard for them to stream a video of someone using this and communicate without live audience reaction, you know, how interesting this is and what the message and what the story is behind this. Yeah, and also how this is also the sort of thing where, oh boy, if you got like a whole bunch of training before you got to a pre-release iPhone with a new feature on it, imagine they're probably going to put you into like 2-week forget the coronavirus quarantine. They're going to put you into Apple Glass quarantine where you can't leave the hotel for 2 weeks, so
you have a personal butler enforcer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to that's going to be a really, really tough thing. Because that would have been almost like the iPad introduction, where all you want is as an Apple PR person is get all these people into the demo room and let them scroll, let them squeeze, let them see how light this thing is and how durable it feels like, when they don't have the ability to let these people who are going to be the first round of influencers, the people who are going to do the, hey guys, I got my first full hands-on in-depth review here in the demo room where I have 2 minutes with this thing. Mm-hmm. But all this sort of stuff where people are saying, I know I don't have them yet. I know I don't have a full review, but even for the first 2 minutes of this, I can tell this is something different and something special. There are a lot of variables here. This is the slogan for 2020. This is a unprecedented situation, and we can't really predict how anybody is going to get through anything.